Alright, let's get back and finish off the computer room, because the computer room just has an overflow filter, I believe, we have to go through, and then I think that's all the stuff. Because I had to deal with, I forget what I had to deal with when I needed it. Oh, I think it was to make sure, I think that, that one that I was talking about always putting out the items may not actually do that. No, it doesn't. So there's a wireless receiver right behind it, right? Mm-hmm. That actually would send a redstone signal to the export. But what? Where the hell are you?
What?
Oh, you're in the farm. Get out of there. What's wrong with you?
I'm just checking shit out.
It's on the other floor, you fool.
Don't worry, I'm just seeing how many floors we have to tour.
There's a lot of them. It goes all the way down to bedrock.
Oh.
David, what's wrong with you?
I'm just checking out.
Get up here.
How many? God damn it, I have to load that chunk again.
Yeah, you gotta load all the chunks. So, whenever this receives a redstone signal, it tells this to take out these items. And this long line of emitters above my head deals with those items constantly. So if there's ever more than 256 of any item, it sends out a redstone signal to this wire, which goes straight to this transmitter, which transmits to there and tells it to put it in the chest. So that's how it stores all of the excess items. It still hasn't loaded.
No. Hurry.
It doesn't like you very much. I wouldn't be surprised if your computer's like starting to crash now because it's using up all of the memory or something. I don't remember how careful I want to be around these indexers. The thing about the indexers is if you store enough bees in them, they will break the game.
Alright, just stand here.
Only if you interact with them, of course. It'll be fine. Anything else can interact with it. You can pull them out with a pipe or something, but if you touch it, it will break. It will crash the game, and it'll be end. I used this before because I'd put normal bees into this one here, and there's a setup behind it to sort them out. And if it's a mixed bee, it'll go into here, and if it's a pure bee, it'll go into this one. Because I need to keep them separated whenever I was working with them genetically. That should be about all that for this room. And I got my Greg Tech room over here. And you're missing the tour.
Don't worry, I'm just running around everywhere to load up. Load up.
We can load it when we get there, Avon.
Nah, man. Oh.
You were a terrible person, Avon. Oh, wait.
Okay. Alright, continue on with the tour.
Also, if I shift-click, I'd click, wait, and then click, wait. That's the lag time I have shift-clicking, which is why I don't want to shift-click usually. It's terrible. Alright. Further, Avon.
I can't tell because, this level hasn't loaded.
Just don't worry about it. So here's the Greg Tech room, alright?
Mm-hmm.
Over here. And what we have here is the industrial grinder. Mine's only set up for 2, and it's nowhere near as beautiful as it is in ours. Our series had the best industrial grinder I've ever made.
I know, because it was in the white room.
No, it's not because of that.
Okay.
It's because it was in the center, and thus had the ability to have 4 sides and an entire piping system dedicated to it. It was beautiful. This is my... What is this? The blast furnace? Yeah, this is the blast furnace. What number did it get up to? 2680. So this was capable of working with the highest end material. But I didn't really get too much into it. I got my implosion compressor for when I make... what was it? The iridium bars. Because, I need to explode the iridium bars. Even what are you always missing?
I'm not missing. I'm trying to load this stuff.
Why don't you set your render? Is your render up? Well, It was low as hell, wasn't it?
What do you mean?
Your render distance.
Options. Video settings. Render. 48 blocks. Plus.
48 blocks plus?
Plus 48?
Yeah, that's
plus
probably
32.
Fine. You can pull it down, yeah, and it'll be a bit faster. It's still going to suck, because like I said, this is why we should not have built on top of everything, because then the chunks just get insane. Our server was much softer than this. what was this setup here? This is my... I can't even click on this.
Okay,
I never really cared for using this anyway. I think this is just the combiner for...
Now I know where I'm at.
For simple things like the... God, I don't remember. Greg Tech stuff. I don't know what... I know this took like advanced computer parts and stuff, so I didn't want to get into that. Got an industrial centrifuge here. And I was using this for some time, which is why this setup here is all weird like it is. Because what I do is I put something in the deep storage unit above you, right? And it would be pulled out by the transposer at a certain time rate, and it would get put into this centrifuge. And then the centrifuge or into this industrial electrolyzer. I don't know why it's set up like it is. There might be a reason. I think it was doing like 50-50 kind of thing. I don't really remember. But the electrolyzer here is connected to this. I think it was trying to make plutonium, maybe. Because I would take uranium and pull it down. I think uranium was also being split into some other stuff in the centrifuge. That's of no matter. This was some random thinking I had. Because the thing about this place being so industrial is that whenever I got an idea, I would just reshape all the piping in here, you know? So it would get pretty crazy, and I sometimes don't remember what I built everything to do. Especially if I abandoned it for long enough. This was iridium from making it with UU matter. We never got a chance to use UU matter for that, but this device was what is this? The UUM assembler. I don't believe it's craftable, so I had to make this purchasable by the villager, which I think we'll visit soon enough, because he's at the center. And then the iridium would get just pulled out to here, and I would take that by hand. But I never really got much iridium through this. I think I was using a different method for it. I don't remember what. This is the bee room. It's like a bee museum I was going to make. I never got around to doing too much with it because I have to completely explore a bee's genetic setup before I can decide that they're worthy of storing into the museum. Plus, they have to be very pure, because what these are also going to be used as is not just a museum, but as an emergency set. So whenever I need to pull the original set of B, I can get it from here. But only the princess is from this. This is my drone room. Now this one, I used this room for storing a bunch of bees, because I wanted to have a good set of bees. Like, I think I have 512 of each type of bee that I have, right?
Yeah.
And I put them in this chest just temporarily. I was going to move them by hand into here.
Yes.
All right. Into this bee analyzer. And they'd stack on the left here. And they'd go in, and if you put in a full stack, it'll scan an entire stack. If you don't put it in a stack at a time, it won't do that. So you have to make sure to put in a stack. I had like 8 of each, so I had 8 stacks I had to go through, so I had to wait for a second. And it would go through here. This pipe just... Actually, no, that one... This one should be automatic when you switch this. So if I turn this, it should pour honey in. So it uses that honey to scan them and whatnot, and then puts them out on the right. And then they're taken away and put into this chest over here, which is then put into like a timetable and pulled in through this pipe into the scanner underneath this computer.
Wait a minute, I remember the light system. It was go or no go.
Yeah, this is what it'll do is if the system has an OK, it'll put out a green light every time it scans one, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least I believe that it was. I don't remember it 100%, but I do know if it has one that it rejects, it'll turn on the red light and push them into the chest in the middle. And then if they succeeded, they'd go to the right here and get put into this chest, which would be pulled into here. But only when it reached a stack, because they have to put them into this indexer in a stack, or else they just won't be stacked.
Every kind of bee you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, I got forest, tolerant, tropical, got them all over here, and they're set up as they're needed. I believe they're connected to the system right now. Yeah, it's connected to the system right now, because the computer actually connects to this area underneath there. That's why I put that inlet there.
Oh.
And so this has a storage bus, which means I can interact with it constantly. So if I type in drone I can see 512 of all these different types of bees because they're in the system here. So I can interact with this from a distance and pull out bees as I need them from storage. But I don't use my computer for storing these bees, so that's why the computer doesn't have any other bees in it. I don't remember where I put all the bees. I think they might be...
Where? You think where the bees might be?
I have no idea. It's probably an indexer somewhere I stored them into. I just threw them in and forgot about them. They're dead. Now, the computer was designed with a special scan file. Let me see. Edit. Analyze. And so what Analyze does here is it checks the chest, checks the number. So I think it waits for like 64 or something. God, I can't remember.
X equals 64. Fuck that.
If args1 equals chest or args1 equals chest, then 1536, else x equals 64 times 2 number argument 1. Don't remember. I think this basically is if I told it to analyze a certain number. So if I say analyze chest, I believe it'll start going through bees until it hits 1536 or something like that. I think this was designed, if I ever said chest, to basically scan the entire chest on the left, which I don't think I ever really did. But there were more. There's 2 other programs here. Edit B scan. It's a long amount of stuff. So these are functions: if next, reject, or accept. So if it rejects, it'll put out the light on the left, and if it accepts, it'll put the light on the right. And if it says next, it'll just pull the next bee. These are variables. It's reading a file here for stored data. That's where all the information on the bees are. I've stored their name and the amount of them that there are. And it goes through a loop and whatnot, uses the bottom to scan. It's actually quite complicated, this. I actually built this. It's an actual program, so I don't believe I'll be able to just quickly understand this.
Headphones.
So there's a lot to this. Store data, it stored all this stuff, closes the file. So if anyone wants to read that over, they're free to do so. And the last one is what the file actually looks like that's being read and stored to. Edit stored data. And so this is what it looks like. It just has the name of the species and the amount it has. So it has 512 forest bees, 512 of these other ones. It keeps going. And they should be all 512 because that's how I stored them. And then a blank variable, so there's x0 for whenever there's an extra one that doesn't have storage at all. And I set it up for, I believe, 200 species. So I mean, we won't actually get to see this in action, but it is a crazy computer system. And anyone that's wanting to actually read that stuff is free to do so. But I mean, I know it's just gibberish to most people. And then I got this is where I can check the different bee species I have. I don't want to click on it because I might end up crashing the game.
Oh, well, I did.
So I don't want to do that. Well, did you crash?
No.
Okay, well, you got lucky. It won't happen all the time.
You were lucky.
You survived, kid. Move on. And then we go to the next level. This is the industrial zone. Now, this one I put in a bunch of industrialized machines to deal with having massive stacks of stuff. So when you have, 50k copper ore, you have to think smartly about it,
Mm-hmm.
Because I have to go through that stuff and turn it all into ingots because I'm OCD like that. So for dealing with that, this place is pretty crazy. Got my snowball machine here too. If I ever wanted to just make snowballs, free water above it. What are these? These are induction smelters. This is for smelting ones that had a special byproduct, like I believe copper has a chance of giving you iron, so it would have been worth putting through here. So I'd get 2 copper and I'd possibly get some iron, and that'd get put in the chest, which would go back upstairs for storage. Got the timer up here triggering these transposers, and the deep storage units, which would have storage of the items I wanted to break down. Then a redstone signal to this pipe here to turn on and off steam to make sure these Stirling engines don't explode. But these are Stirling engines, so they wouldn't explode because of steam. But I used steam engines from time to time, to kind of make it faster. So if I ever had to implement that, they're still ready to go. This one's my liquid transposer. I didn't use it too often. It's usually whenever I needed to make a like a tesseract or something. I'd melt down like a pearl or something. It would send it over, and I'd craft things there. Pretty simple. But then the biggest factory piece is actually behind you. Is the triplicate thing. The thing we've got in our base to make 3 out of gold and stuff like that.
Yeah, out of one single ore.
Yeah. So I have it all set up here. I think it had some issues where it would go... Actually, no, I sorted that out, it seems. Or did I? Well... It seems kind of odd, this loop. I might have changed it, too. God only knows. I messed with these loops sometimes just because I had to. But, I mean, this area has just been used for so much material pushing, Because I've got all that ore resource upstairs. And then here's the farm. I never got a chance to work with this farm too much. I wanted to, but it's a slow grow and stuff like that. And you got the crop matron or whatever this is in the middle, which takes crop resources like fertilizer. There's bug spray or something to kill bugs, and I think water cells to keep hydration or something like that. I don't really know. It's been a while. Also, I don't think we're supposed to step on these. I don't know. One of these plants is missing. And it's just connected to...
Pretty sure we can't step on them or you wouldn't have lily pads.
Well, you'd think that, but that's not exactly always the case.
And also, I smacked that one to see what this was growing.
How could you, Aiden? How could you do this to me? There's panels on here because it's actually connected to the power. Oh, and that's this is the access point whenever I need to work on it underground. So I just open it up, and I can go underneath if I ever needed to change anything underneath it. But usually I don't think I ever have to. So, just a simple access point. So it's not too bad. It's a nice little farm, but it never got used as much as I wanted it to. It's probably partially because it went through its material so quickly, and you got so little out of it, because you could crossbreed some plants, but we never went over that, and I didn't really want to.
Potatoes, and call them tomatoes.
You could actually grow, I think you could grow redstone and stuff like that through those things.
Like ender lilies.
But I never really did that, so... what's the next one? I think the next one is the redstone creation area. So, this is what my laser system looks like. It doesn't look like the one we had, but it's just as functional. It's got the steam engines on the side. These things are always powered. And then, here's the massive wall of igneous extruders, just creating cobblestone and transferring them down. This lever controls all of them, I believe. No, it controls all of these pipes at the bottom that these transposers pull out from here.
Because then it stops if it's full.
Yeah. It's just the landslide section. It goes to a pipe system under there, which goes down this way, up to here, and just works like ours does.
Yeah, with, with clear pipes and all that.
What?
With clear pipes and all that.
Yeah. The pipes I'm using here are better, and when ours was always kind of a temporary build. It was never really a full-scale one like this one is. But it's just as effective. I think we actually have more redstone in here than we do on our server, surprisingly. Although, considering I probably did a few transfers, actually, so... Because there's a lot in the system. Now, if we go to the lower section right here, this is the laboratory. This little piston area here. Goes to a doorway. It's a bit hard to get in, but it's cool, so... Makes up for it.
The laboratory.
This is my genetic laboratory, whatnot. I got your liquid bees here on the right. Just you could just drink it up, This is the timer we have on. This is the timer we have on our server for pulling out bees from the chest.
We don't have these pistons, though. These steam pistons.
Yeah, we do. It was in the basement.
What?
Remember, we never really went to it. The lava room underneath.
Oh, okay.
There were 4 pistons in there with a what is it? The Ender tank in the middle.
Yeah.
But we never really accessed it or used the underground area. We also stored our genes there. I've got another gene storage place here, but we'll see that in a second. So I could throw in bees here that I want to like just destroy. They'll go into this gene pool. They'll be liquefied and put to that tank, which goes into that tank over there, which actually is somewhat down. I must have been using it recently. Oh god, the pipe system for this. This pipe system basically checks whether or not one of these engines is overheating, and in the event it is, puts out a redstone signal along the pipe, as you can see with a small red wire on top of the pipe, and it goes to these 3 pipes here, and they turn off the tanks to stop the, 5 engines? So it stops these 5 engines from running in the event they start overheating. But these never overheat, actually, because I think the power is utilized better, and if not, they seem to just keep in control. Because I don't see this flipping back and forth. This is also a special repeater, so it can stay on the ceiling.
It defies the laws of nature.
You got the acclimatizer, the inoculator, the isolator, purifier, and the synthesizer. And they're all hooked up to the power. These ones have just liquid going to them. Liquid B.
Liquid breeze.
This is my chest here with segmented separation of all the different types of things. I think the bottom section here is for species that I'm protecting. There's empty serum vials there. On the right, there are different effects and whatnot, or anything I'm charging up. So there's species and effects that are getting charged.
Like tarnished.
Or that I'm protecting for now that I haven't sorted or something like that.
Maximum fertility serum.
And then the top left are ones that I'm planning to throw away. So those ones are all going to get furnaced eventually. And then on the left here is my quick table. So I've got rainfall, nocturnal, cave dwelling, large territory if ever I wanted to do that, which I never really used, but I had it. Maximum fertility, shortest lifespan, fast productivity, flower pollination. Which I think I also had magic flower pollination because I wanted to change it so they'd use magic flowers.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also another one somewhere that took away flowers completely. I don't have it here, though, right now. I got effect cancellation, both temperature and both humidity. So, I mean, with just this table on the left, I can make a bee capable of surviving in anything.
Even the void.
Yes. Just throw into the void, they just laugh at you. Thought that you were going to defeat them, they'd just live down there now. So let's go down to the gene room. You laugh at them
because they just constantly fall for all eternity.
So this is the gene room. You've passed it.
Yeah, I sort of.
This is the gene room. I tried to make... It was hard because I had this idea in my mind, right? To make a double helix out of water and lava.
Oh.
But of course, it wouldn't work out. But it's still kind of nice, you know? It's not bad.
Yeah, after you know what it is.
Yeah. Even if you don't know what it is, it's kind of an interesting little structure. It's like a monument of sorts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got all of my genes here, and I have them sorted from empty to full, and then the back wall for species. And I have all the fertility, productivity, pollination, and whatnot. A lot of them aren't full because I only fill the ones that are really good, or that I was trying to keep, because I'd have shortest and slowest and fastest and stuff like that. I will get to that in a second.
Okay.
And then I've got a lot of empty serums, which I have sorted from slowest to lowest to highest, you know, all that stuff. There's quite a few of them, but I didn't use an awful lot of them, which is why there's so few right there. Literally just fertility and productivity tend to be the highest that I'd ever care about, or humidity and temperature, because these ones were the ones that were always kind of holding me back when the bee couldn't survive somewhere or didn't produce enough offspring.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Because you need that.
I don't remember why I had it separated like this. I don't think they were sorted just yet. But I keep the species listed from A to Z. So it should be we got ancient, charmed, common, copper, and then it continues on to the next one: cultivated, demonic, diligent. And the list should be unbroken except for these 2 points, which I took out a species serum for a little bit, and they're probably on the bottom, and I plan to put them back in. Some of these are new ones, though, too, because any new discovered species I put at the bottom right for now, because I know they're separate before I sort them. And the reason why the computer is here is because I put a file in there. It's basically got a similar kind of design as the basement, as the upstairs computer for sorting bees, but except it's species. So if I edit stored data, I can see what kind of species I've got. I've got majestic, unweary, forest, rocky, marshy, and it's just a list of names for all the species that I do have, and then X's for ones I don't. And then if we exit and edit species, that should be what creates a new species in it. So it'll take in a name argument, which is whatever you put in. You say species, and you space, and you put in a name for the species, right? And what it does is it opens the file for stored data, and it reads it. It checks all 200 lines, and where there isn't one, it puts an X, and it reads the file, because I think it creates a temporary table, puts X's in it, and then reads the file to see if it needs to replace the X with something, like a name. And then it closes the file. Then it goes through a loop that checks through it and sees where it can add the new name, and if it already had it. Because if I had a species, it'll say, you already have the species, I can't add it to the database.
Oh.
Versus, if you don't have it, it'll add it. So when it gets flagged with added, it puts species, so it puts the name of the species I told it to, and then says right after that, added to the database. And if it says that I found it, or if it's already there, it'll say this species was already found. And then it'll open the file again, write to the file, and write the new species that's been added. And then it'll close the file again.
Yeah, but it doesn't organize them in alphabetical order for you, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. But I don't need that to be organized, because that's just a search thing.
Okay.
If I wanted to do a fast search, if it was ever a point, because if this were a number to reach like 2 million species, I would want a binary search function in there.
Yeah.
But it's never going to do that, so it's only going to go to 200, so. So I didn't really care to do it. Besides, I don't really know how it's structured. I didn't plan that out at all. And let's edit search, and the search is just going to check. Oh, I made a new one.
Oh.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
It's not even real. It could be added
it's
on.
Not. So now the search one just does a search function where I give it a name, it searches it. Now, capitalization, I think, does matter, so I need to make sure the first letter is capitaled. But that's about it. So it'll read the file, and if it finds it, it'll just print species found or species not found. Simple code. And it's really useful. So if I say search, and I say modest, species found. So I have modest in here, so now I just need to look at the list and search for the actual modest thing. I did want to do an interesting setup where I'd have like a turtle pull the species or something for me. So I could put in a request for a species and have it like a vending machine, you know? I wanted to do that so badly. But the issue is this setup here, if you like right click on it and stuff, you can accidentally remove one of the serums and you have to put it back and stuff like that, and you can't detect the inner storage. So if I say put something in a chest, the robot's just going to put it in a chest. It's not going to say put it in chest slot 1 or 2. So when it's in alphabetical order or anything like that, it can't do anything with this. It'll just try to put it in 1. It'll say it's either full or it's not. And it'll either fail or it won't, because it'll have all of the spots filled. So I couldn't make it smart. I really wanted to, though. I'm sure there's some strategy. If I really, really dedicated my time and my life to doing this, I could probably sort out something. Like maybe have it work within AppliedEnergistics or something. But I really don't know. Then now we'll go to the bottom layer.
Oh.
And now down here is the boiler room. I got brains. You gave me brains. Somebody gave me brains.
I don't think...
And so, This area needs to load in. Stupid loading. Alright. It's a nice little room, though. It's really... I like the design I got for this. It's a nice little boiler room. And so, all the kills of coal and stuff, it works just like our boiler room. Except I've got 2 of them because I needed a lot more steam. And it's got...
Kind of just
it's got 8 outputs. 8 outputs on each one of them to make sure I max out the Tesseract's use. Get plenty of steam through this thing. Let's check out the grinder that's creating coal right now. So here's the coal system I have here.
All the bones.
With two golems that are doing their jobs, just searching for coal or bones and separating them out for me. So it takes coal from this middle chest. They don't actually work on picking up stuff that's on the ground. What happens is these mobs hit the ground, die, their items are pulled into the system, pulled into this chest. Then the chest is above something that'll throw away whatever I don't need, so it'll throw away lead ingots once it reaches a certain point, or swords. And that's just automated throwing away. Mm-hmm. But the items it doesn't throw away are things like coal, unless it hits a stack or whatnot, because these robots are designed... I keep calling them robots. These golems are designed to search for a certain amount of the item. And I believe these are just told to take any amount, yeah. So if there's any amount of coal in here, and there's space for coal, this golem's going to go pick up coal, hold on to it until there's space, and put it in this chest. Same with the bones. And I just kept the bones one just in case I ever wanted bones for, like, bone meal or something. But there wasn't much of a time for that. What are you doing? Why are you breaking the world, David?
I can't go in there, why?
I think it's because we're slightly down lower.
What?
Like, these blocks might be slightly lower.
Oh. Oh, you mean higher?
Well, that too. But the thing is if you're actually lower, because like if you use soul sand, you're actually lower, so you can't go through a door.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
What happened to my freaking blocks that I broke off?
They probably went into the system or were deleted. No, they're right there. 2 of them.
They were a part of the system.
They had to be. They had to be part of the system.
Or they were gonna drown.
It's true. Alright, I think that completes this section. Don't really know of any other sections in my house that are left. Other than the computer room, which we can dissect a bit now, and then we'll head up to the middle ground and check that area out.
Middle ground.